Okay, it's setting up the live stream now. Hey, everybody, we've got the live stream rolling. We have a quorum and we have the Zoom meeting being recorded, so we are ready to go. We can go ahead and call to order our meeting for December 17th, 2025. Roll call, please. Ms. McNeely?
Present, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Davis? Mr. Davis is present on the phone. Thank you, Mr. Davis. And Mr. Quesada?
Present.
Here in person. Ms. Gonzalez is in the waiting room. Get her in here. Hey, Ms. Gonzalez.
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Doing good, thank you. We just started, so let the record reflect that Ms. Gonzalez is also on the line. Absent today will be Mr. Freitas from our board.
Okay.
Okay, so roll call is done. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it
which
stands,
stands
nation,
a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we can move on to the next item, which is approval of agenda and the previous minutes. The agenda from today's meeting was previously sent to you, and as well as the previous minutes from the November 19th, 2025 meeting. Priscilla has also displayed them on the screen. I'll give everybody a minute to review those. If again, they were already sent to you, so you may have reviewed them previously as well.
Is there a motion by the board to approve the meeting minutes and agenda previously sent out?
I will make that motion.
I second.
Okay, thank you for that motion, Mr. Quesada, Ms. McNeely for the second. Ms.
Seen?
Gonzalez?
Seen? No opposition? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item is the open forum. Several of us are here at the school. There's no members of the public that have expressed interest in open forum today physically, and I'm double checking our Zoom room now, and there's no one on the Zoom room either. Okay, so we can move on to the next item, discussion and action for fiscal. Ms. Priscilla.
Morning, everyone. So I do have up on the screen our new, or I should say revised budget reports. The visuals are available for you all in the Google Drive, and I highly encourage you all to kind of go in there and interact with it and just see kind of what our budget looks like at this point in the year. You'll see our final budget versus year-to-date expenditures are looking pretty well. Our year-to-date, again, is this green line, and our budgeted amount is our blue chart there. And then you also see our remaining percent of budget, which looks pretty good. Our operational budget is always going to be that first one. And then any funds beginning in 2.4 or 2.7 are our state and federal reimbursable funds.
And Priscilla, just to make sure I remember, the goal is the graph to be essentially zero by year end, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Except in the case of operational where, that does kind of carry over into our new year as cash. Okay. Everything else should zero out. For example, I'll kind of blow this up a little bit. This fund 24176 for Carl Perkins was actually due to expire at the end of September. You'll see that is fully expended, and we did receive all of our reimbursements from PED for that fund.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you.
So can you maybe go over some of those ones that are still pretty high up there and just let everybody know that we do have a plan to expend?
Yeah, Carl Perkins, I'll just kind of use that as an example for now. So our 24176 is called redistribution. We generally only have July through September to spend that down. So you'll see that 0% balance there. That is not the case for our 24172 and 24174. We're able to utilize those all the way through June. And what we have placed in our application that received full approval is to utilize a lot of what the remaining balance is for student travel, student memberships to regional competitions and lodging. So that has not yet been encumbered because we haven't made those arrangements just yet. But that is looking to be drawn down by year end. And then another one, innovation zones, that's a pretty large award that we've received. Right now, we're at 39% budget remaining, and that the bulk of that is our student internships. We are utilizing a third party to actually run the payroll for those. And what we're doing is receiving the invoice from that company to go ahead and pay that out. So once we receive that at the end of December for this first semester's processing, that should go down a little bit and reflect what we have in there. All right, and then our fund summary data just kind of puts all of that in a chart showing, if anything is less than 50% drawn down, it will highlight green. So we are doing, I would say, pretty well here. Like I said, in some of these others, like these 2-3 funds, these are activity accounts. So those are able to be carried over year to year. So I'm not really worried about that. What we're really trying to visualize and see are these funds here. And here is the budget data that all of our visuals are pulled from. And then our function data, kind of similar to the function dashboard where you'll see those function balances. And this will also highlight anything that is under budget in red. So that's also an interactive chart. Moving on to our revenue for November 2025, we're seeing our RFRs continue to come in, some adult meal fees revenue, our Ed Fellows reimbursements, and our SEG. We are totaling $328,936 for November 2025. Our disbursements for the month of November are totaling $256,330. And you can go through this. It does entail all of the processing that we've gone through for November 2025, including any kind of travel reimbursements. Rite Express is our fuel card. So that's available to you all. We did have a finance committee meeting yesterday, and I was asked to provide a listing of travel for November 2025 to the finance committee for selection of samples. So that will be ready to go, I would say, by next meeting in January. That way we can, just see some of those samples of the accounts payable processing that we're going through, and also provide that supporting documentation for any travel reimbursements that we're getting out.
Yeah, and the finance committee just wanted to do a self audit, just to get ahead of things and make sure we're doing our due diligence there.
That's good.
I'm going to go ahead and move on to our action items with the bar approvals. A lot of these, as we're nearing the semester end, we have our financial quarterlies due to PED at the end of January. So our cutoff is December 31st. So you'll see that a lot of these bars that we're approving today are maintenance bars, and they're kind of small, a lot of just covering our basic benefits, And you'll see all those justifications there on the side. We also received an increase in our fund 24190 for SIT. It's the final award notice. This has been entered and we are increasing that budget in our SIT. Like I said, these bars down here that are highlighted are maintenance bars, budget lines. We had some digital subscriptions that we needed to cover in our operating budget. And then again, some benefits lines, our Medicaid fund, we did add a budget line for a New Hope Therapy to provide social work services, therapy services to students. So that's adding $5,000 to that line, and then a small $15 bar for Ed Fellows to cover the work comp fee. If anyone has any questions over the bars or the budget reports, I can answer them.
Okay, thank you, Priscilla, for a very good report and good visuals as well. Appreciate it.
Just so that the group knows, in attendance, I attended that conference last week that we had for the charter schools. And just so you know, I just want to give a shout out to Priscilla because we talked about best practices. We talked about how we go over our spreadsheets, how we've adjusted the spreadsheet to go down versus in graph mode. And a lot of different boards actually like that idea. So I thought that I wanted to make sure you knew that that was a really good visual, Priscilla, and I think other boards really liked that idea. So great job.
Thanks, that's good to know.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, if there's
right.
no other questions or comments?
All right, is there a motion to approve the budget as presented for today under bar, I'll say 24,190, 11,000, 11,000, 11,000, 24,106, 25,153, and 26,017 as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, for making that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, seeing no opposition, motion carried. Item 5, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. As always, we'll start with enrollment. Right now, we're currently at 206 students. We are wrapping up the fall semester, our term 4 and 2025 calendar year this week. So tomorrow will be our last instructional day. And Leslie and Miss Laura in our registrar's office have already received 6 completed packets for students to start in January, with an additional 10 who have expressed interest and picked up packets. So we potentially will enroll 15 new students in January when we come back. Confirmed at least 6, but probably up to 10 to 15 is more realistic. So our student enrollment, as far as we know, because we don't have any notice of students disenrolling when we get back, so we could be around 220 in January when we return.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be a really good number, and I'm also happy to report that most of those students that are going to start with us in January are H1s, which means this is their first year as freshmen. They were in 8th grade last year, and they've seen some I guess some failure, some other issues in school wherever they're at. So they are looking for an alternative placement, and we're happy to of course accept those students, and getting them when they're H1s gives us a lot more time to work with them and get them prepared to graduate with their cohort when they're H4s and graduate on time, versus getting students with, freshman credits who are H3s who should be juniors, but still only has freshman credits, we do not have time to graduate them with their cohort. That's why we, do put a little emphasis on our 5th and 6th year graduation rate. But the state and how we're rated only, really cares about the 4-year cohort. So, the more H1s we can get, the better our, graduation rate will be in time. So that's good.
As let me ask a question. In terms of enrollment, I know graduation is something that we're really looking at. That's one of the measures that we obviously need to make sure that we focus on as a board and as a school. Could we, for the meeting, have a current status of how many graduates by month that I know it fluctuates, right? I know that it really does fluctuate, but do we have 25 scheduled? Do we have 30? What are we slated to graduate by month? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
wondering
for
if
sure.
that would be a good visual to have so we keep our eye on the prize.
Yep, and our Navigate program actually focuses on that, and I'll let Matt kind of give some of those details and what we've been working on with the state.
Okay.
Yeah, so in Navigate strictly about our school's graduation rate and work aligned to increasing that graduation rate. And we're really focusing on increasing engagement and relevance through that work.
Mhm.
We believe that's the ticket to higher graduation rates.
Right.
We have an MOI site visit meeting on January 22nd with Priority Schools Bureau to talk about what you were just asking for.
Okay.
So I do have BOI data, and we're looking at our goal for BOI data was roughly 48% graduation rate, which would be about a 12% increase over last year. And our MOI and EOI was between 5 and 7% increases on the goals.
Mhm.
So after term 4 ends, this semester ends in early January, I'll be compiling the data to see where we're at with students that are on track to meet those graduation requirements. So I'll be able to report out probably in the February meeting or on that data.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yep.
Thank
And
you.
also the team, Matt and our CTE team and our registrar credit analysis team, spent 3 full days working on each senior's like individualized plan, what they need for graduation as far as credits, making sure we build our master schedule to give them the opportunity to meet those credits. We have students, which I'll talk about here in a little while, in the graduation engagement internship program, just as we did last year. So yeah, there's a lot of emphasis and focus on making sure we get as many kids graduated as we can. Again, even if they're not a 4-year cohort, we really, I mean, the most important thing to us is that individual student, kind of the human side of it versus what the data is going to reflect. And if we keep doing that, the data will eventually improve. But we're really working with individual students and trying to get what they need on an individual basis. So, we'll be able to discuss that as well.
And when we had that 3-day, when we worked on it for 3 days, we had roughly 35 students that if their trend continues, will be eligible to meet graduation requirements at the end of the school year. So it would be another large graduation class for one of our largest graduation classes again. We'll know more after we've compiled term 3 and term 4 data into that mix.
Okay.
But we have a solid plan. So we're graduating a large amount of our students that are showing up and attending regularly. What really affects our graduation rate is it's not just about which kid is with us during their senior year. So if we have a kid for 2 years and they transfer out and go to another school and drop out after they leave us, those 2 years affect our graduation rate. So every snapshot or every 40-day reporting period that they're with us is worth 1% of the equation or formula that PED uses to come up with your graduation rate.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that, everybody. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for that question and discussion there. Next item is professional development and training. I'm gonna pretty much keep this as a standing item on my report as well, because things happen every month. So this month there was several CTE opportunities for training and development. In fact, we had 3 of our CTE personnel just returned from Nashville last week. They were at the National Association of CTE conference. So they were there pretty much all week, spent 3.5, 4 days at professional sessions, networking, getting training, looking at different, items that are available that could help each of those different programs. The medical pathway was represented, as was the audiovisual pathway. And our CT director was also there, kind of representing all of our pathways. So they came back and were pretty energized from what they, experienced at the conference. So when we have a little more time next month, I'll have them go ahead and, or one of them at least, give a recap of their experience there. And Ms. Gonzalez already mentioned it, myself, Mr. Davis, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Fuentes, our ELA and Ed Rising teacher, along with Ms. Salas, our LASE, ELL and STARS coordinator or NOVA coordinator. We're also there, and they actually presented at a panel that Mr. Davis did attend along with myself about project-based learning. So they were really a panel presenter. And yeah, it was a really good conference. I know Mr. Davis, Ms. Gonzalez, all of their training hours taken care of. I think they both learned a lot. I was able to go to some good sessions myself and network with some of my colleagues that are charter leaders around the state. Talk with also the charter school division, and a few other different bureaus, and some of our partners that we work with, like our attorney Dan Hill and Sam Gonzalez. So it was a really productive week. Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Davis, I don't know if you want to say any more about that. Mr. Davis? Ms. Gonzalez, you already kind of mentioned a little bit about that, but
Yeah, I think as a board, I think it's really important, I would really encourage other board members to attend at least one of these conferences, because there's different boards that you can, kind of collaborate with and find out what works and what, who's struggling where and where we're really at. But from my perspective, it also gives you an idea of why we do what we do, right? It just is a good reminder to us is, all the effort that the students put in, the teachers put in, and, why it's so important. One thing we'll talk about is we need to look at having a review of our bylaws. So that is something that we need to have a special meeting for. And we can decide as a board if we want to do this, every 6 months or every, once a year, but we really need to review our bylaws to ensure that they're up to date and that they're appropriate for the need of where we're moving as a school. We don't want to have old rules with a new theme, right? So it's going to be important that we revisit them. And a couple of updates that they did provide is that we are going to be ensuring that we need to have obviously our pictures up on the webpage, and how members of the community can contact us as a board directly, or us individually. So we'll work through that with Dan Hill. But do want to make sure that we keep our eye on that annually and look at the bylaws so that we at least review them, take a peek at them, and understand, what we're governed by, what we're self-governing by and held to. But it was a great conference, probably the best one I've been to.
yeah, same. It was really good. So thank you for attending, Mr. Davis, Ms. Gonzalez. And our Ms. Fuentes, Ms. Salas, they did really good on that panel. They got a lot of questions. They were knowledgeable in the way they responded to them. So, proud of them for doing that. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Business Professionals of America. This is a career technical student organization, and it is a part of our business and administration pathway. So there were 6 students that competed in the BPA regional competition a few weeks ago at NMSU, and all 6 of them did win awards. So
Awesome.
they go, you know, like gold, silver, and bronze, and all 6 of them received one of those categories and qualified for state competition, which I believe it's in February. I think I believe it's in February in Albuquerque. So we are Miss Hernandez, the BPA sponsor and business pathway CTE teacher. You know, they work outside of traditional like instructional time to prepare for these competitions. You know, there's things like resume writing, interview skills, you know, giving like PowerPoint presentations, like if you're in a corporate world or the corporate office. Those are the type of competitions that they compete in. So I'll, you know, keep you up to date on those preparations and let you know when that's happening in February. And of course, we're gonna wish them luck and see if they can do well in state as well as they did in the regional competition.
That's awesome. So awesome.
Okay, next item is our GRIP program, Graduation Reengagement Internship Program. A couple of weeks ago, we were on a legislative panel to advocate for sustainable and adequate funding with this program. If you remember from last year, it was a pilot year that we were involved in. We got awarded a GRIP award this year as well. And it's really to help re-engage those kids who may have dropped out or have struggled earning credits, and it's a form of credit recovery. The students actually get paid for their work. They get placed in a work-based learning experience, and they do weekly milestones, daily communication, and a capstone project at the end to earn credits that they need for recovery. There are some legislators around the state who are also writing a bill for sustainable GRIP funding. So we were able to attend that legislative panel. I was part of the educator or adult panel and spoke to about 120 individuals. And then 3 of our students were part of a student panel along with one other school. And they also spoke to the same people in an auditorium on the UNM campus. So they represented themselves and Sendero Prep and the GRIP program very well. So they are actually going to be utilized in the future for more advocacy to try to get this bill passed. One of our students, one of our seniors is going to be showcased and featured in a newsletter that is going to go out to all legislators for this upcoming session in January. So I'll definitely share that with you once it gets, you know, produced. And yeah, just real proud of those kids. They're advocating for themselves, but also for future students at Sendero and around the state, so they can get another like option to meet graduation requirements, especially those that are more in need of extra support and credit recovery. So I'll keep you up to date on all of that.
Question on that.
Yes.
Is there a certain qualification that they have to be able to meet to fall into the program? Or is it just anybody that hasn't graduated that has faults
So-
that can apply? Or
So right now, as it stands, it's H4s, 5s, or 6s that have failed a class. So the credit they're recovering, it can't be new credit. It has to be a credit from a class that they've previously failed to recover. So it really replaces like those online credit recovery programs that are not near as meaningful as this, and gets them re-engaged and reinvigorated to start learning.
second chance, basically, to
It's a second chance, but I would like to, another thing we're working on with legislators and the Instituto del Puente is to get this program started earlier. Like, why are we waiting as a state till they're way off track their senior year? Let's start this program started earlier and earlier so that we're only making up little pieces as we go instead of a chunk at the end. And then that that keeps them on track and keeps them motivated and not feeling like they're lost.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all right, true. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Mr. Casada, and Matt for further explanation. Okay, next item is our attendance campaign deliverables. If we remember, we did receive one of 2 charter schools in the state to receive an attendance grants award for, is it 40?
50.
$50,000. So we hired a contractor to help us with our whole attendance program. And we have some deliverables ready that I think Priscilla may have ready to share with you. There's a 1-page document that is gonna go out to our school community. There are other deliverables as well. They're gonna go out, but this is basically our 1-page attendance improvement plan summary. The actual AIP is several maybe 15, 16 pages.
It's closer to 30.
Sorry, closer to 30 pages. So we just kind of condensed it into, you know, a 1-page document. So we could let our school community, our parents, our students kind of know what that plan is. I'll let Matt kind of talk about a few of the, you know, tier 1 especially.
Yeah, so the big work we've been digging to is redefining our layered interventions. So with the state, that their expectation is 4 layers. Layer 1 is kind of your school-wide interventions that you're doing for every student, and these are the things you're doing as a school just naturally to increase engagement. So for us, that's the project-based learning, those relationship skills and building skills with students. Those students are asking and wanting that mentor from a staff member at the school. That's one of their biggest wants and needs. And we did a student survey for this to really identify what this, coming from the student, what the students need. As adults, we can say, oh, this will work, that'll work. But it really boils down to what the kids need. So after the survey was issued, that's how we've come up with a lot of these layered interventions. So as we move through the tiers, it gets more intensive. Tier 2, if you want to think of it, it's more of a, this is where we're starting the conversation. You're starting to fall off track. What do we need to do to get you on track? And it might be something as simple as, well, I fell into this because I was sick. Here's my doctor's note. And that might end the conversation for that kid. For another kid, it might be needing a mentor. It might be needing more monitoring. And then as they progress, the interventions get more intensive. So in tier 3, they're going to start looking at attendance contracts, coming up with a plan, having to meet with their trusted adult at the school and the attendance intervention team to come up with an individualized plan to help that student. That might be something as simple as trying to figure out helping them with reliable transportation. With our student population, it could be a wide range of things. So making tier 3 really individualized is going to be crucial for success. And then tier 4 is where we really are seeing those kids that are just the most disconnected. These are the kids that we want to get into GRIP, that we want to get into our own internship programs, if that's what re-engages them. But it's also going to include wraparound services from agencies like CYFD and social services and potentially the JPO to get just everybody that's in all the agencies that are involved with this student in the same room and coming up with an aligned plan. So a lot of work and time went into this, and we have Fred to thank, having that grant and being able to bring him on and carry a lot of the load and keep this work aligned to our school's mission and vision has been really important. And so this is the first deliverable. We've already presented this to staff. Fred came in on Monday actually and did about an hour-long PD with staff over attendance and the intervention plan and walking them through the work we've been doing. And we're also going to be planning family engagements nights. That'll probably be the next deliverable you guys see. So we have a flyer created. We just need to settle on a date and figure out when that's going to fit best for the school's needs and the community's needs. But at that family engagement night, we really want to just take that first night to educate our community on what PBL really means and what it looks like on a day-to-day basis, and why attendance is so important when your focus is project-based learning and CTE.
What alerts do you seek, or I guess accept, to start the engagement with a child? Or is it automatically, you guys just always going to meet with them one-on-one throughout the
So
timeframe?
when I call parents and I try to find out like what the case is, if it's medical, if it's transportation, I do have the students email me and the teachers and let them know that like, yes, I have talked to parents and I've talked to the students. I talk to the students every morning when they come in. If I've noticed that they've been missing more than 2 or 3 days, I pull them into the office, I talk to them. I make referrals to FYI, I make referrals to New Hope, which is our therapy services.
Okay.
And then with FYI, we do El Puente, or the JARC program. It's not called JARC anymore, I don't
I
think.
know what you're talking about though.
Um,
I wish they did call it the drug.
so,
I remember.
once we meet with our team, which is Thomas and Lorena, then we figure out like if it's a program that needs to be extended out to, like if it's financial need, if the student is working, because whatever childcare, we try to extend it past Lorena, and then they go into the actual FYI office and get referrals made from there, and then we help try to get them that way. Mike, I have Mike meet with the kids one-on-one, see if there's something else that they're needing within the school.
Mhm.
But I usually talk to the kids pretty regularly every day, and then the parents that I am able to get a hold of and just try to find out what services they need from us.
And then what's triggering these are those percentages. So tier 2, when they're in that 5% to 7% of absences, 8 to 9%, that falls into the tier 2 individualized prevention. Then the early intervention starts when they're at that 10 to 20%. Once they get above that 20% range, that's when they fall into that tier 4 category, which is a very intensive support.
I like this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there really is a lot of work that obviously goes into this. We also have to do monthly meetings that are part of the grant requirement. They're 90-minute meetings and they're with NMPED, so we're working really closely with Safe and Healthy Schools Bureau on this as well. They're kind of with us the whole step of the way and approving and kind of vetting everything. And so yeah, like I said, there's only 2 charter schools in the whole state, or 3, I believe, in the whole state that received this grant. Sometimes, people get kind of shied away from some of these grants because the workload may not be worth the grant award. But we have to, as a leadership team, really make that determination, and we don't mind, some of this extra burden if it's gonna help, the school community. So I'm kind of proud of my team for being able to accept that. Priscilla as well. I mean, every grant, there's fiscal responsibility. So yeah, just thank our team for taking on some of this extra work for the betterment of the school community.
And the big thing is, it was work that we needed to do to adjust to the new programming that we're doing. So we've been seeing the changes that need to be made in the work. This helps align and focus the work and makes it relevant, and also gives us that outside support and the financial support to make this work happen.
This is great. I think this is incredible. I know it's a big undertaking, but I think doing it that way with this kind of intervention is incredible. Just incredible.
And it is, the attendance piece for us is, it's a challenge with our population, and looking at like our term pass rates, which are like our class grades at the end of each term. When data is disaggregated, pass rates nearly double for students that are showing up consistently. So if we can solve that attendance piece, we're gonna be in an even better place.
Yeah, this is great. Where did you find the model for this at? How did you figure this out? I mean, I'm just in curiosity, because I think that this is a lot of work, but a really innovative way to start, doing those early interventions for better outcomes.
A lot of ideas and practices have come from our work with like Priority Schools Bureau, the trainings that the grant is providing, and really the conferences we attend up north in Albuquerque, being present in those and learning from other schools and taking pieces here and there, and then having people like Kaz and Fred with years and years of experience to draw knowledge from. All of that's been crucial to creating the plan.
This is really nice. This is pretty up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, appreciate it, everybody. Again, we'll keep you up to date on everything, and hopefully we'll see some of those results come in, here in soon. Next item, board training. Again, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Davis completed their training up in Albuquerque last week. For the rest of you, there's always the Canvas learning management system where you can get your hours. That's pretty simple to do. Mr. Freitas, if he doesn't go to a conference, does it every year. I think Mr. Casada has done that before as well. So has Ms. Gonzalez, I believe, in the past.
I'm probably on tier 4 on that right now. I will.
That's okay, though. We have until June, but it's better to,
Get it
maybe
all
we should
done.
Make like, our own internal,
I think Ms. Gonzalez had set a date she would like, right?
yeah.
I know we had said it for before the year's over.
I'd like it all before the year's over, cause I'm an overachiever, right? I wanna get it all done, cause that way
Maybe
we don't
could
have
say by
to,
like March, maybe,
yeah.
have
Let's,
a-
I think we should set a date of like March 1 for everyone to complete it on. I will say for, the newer members on the board, the Canvas courses are great. It's easy to do and you can look at the content. If you get stuck, you can go back to it. So the Canvas is really simple and, I would say do it Saturday morning, have some coffee early and jam out to board training and you can get it done pretty quick.
Yep, yeah, let me know. We just have to email the charter school division. Her name is, Melissa Brown, Missy Brown.
Yeah,
And she'll set everybody up, who needs it on that Canvas course.
awesome. March
Okay,
1st, let's do this.
All right, March 1st.
March 1st.
Okay, next item is our project showcase. Is actually currently happening right now. It's gonna happen again tomorrow morning for our other project block. What's going on now is our AM CTE PBL block. So it started actually at 9:30 and I was able to go to the first one. And we saw our beginning construction students, their project was bridges. So they built various types of bridges. Some of the ones that we saw were, what was the name of the bridge? It was the arch bridge, an arch bridge, and literally made of popsicle sticks about 1.5 feet long, and some of them were holding 30 to 50 pounds.
Wow.
So, really good engineering there. And then they made scaled up models as well. So, each pathway in each project is showcasing their deliverables to all of the other students who have been working on different projects. We had some parents here, Mr. Casada is here now. And I believe maybe there's some industry partners have, maybe here right now or will show up. So just a really good opportunity for the kids to showcase what they've been working on, the past 10 to 12 weeks. Looking forward to adjourning this meeting and going out there and checking out some more.
That's awesome.
And that is all I have.
That's it. All right. Well, we won't get together again before the new year, so I hope everybody has wonderful holidays. I appreciate the school, the staff and the board. It's just incredible what we've been able to do and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. So happy holidays, everybody, and happy new year.
Yes, happy holidays to everyone.
Same to you,
Yes.
everybody. Thank you very
Happy
much.
holidays.
Yep, you too. We'll talk to y'all again in 2026.
Sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thanks, Mike.